to the final race of Tier 1 Season 3. We have one titanic title battle in store tonight. 3 drivers separated by just 4 points into this epic showdown. Heading the front, we have the blitzing Briton of Keenan. After an absolute surge of pace since he joined at the season start, he leads the way. Ahead of the Flying Dutchman, that is Rick. He sits just a single point behind on his bid to glory. And let's not forget that he spent half of last season in Tier 2. And finally, of our brilliant 3, we have the one, the only Ghost, trailing by just 3 points to his 2 rivals, the season champion gunning for his first taste of Tier 1 Championship victory. With a mightily consistent season from all 3, all of them deserve the title, but only one can reign supreme come the checkered flag. Who will it be? Keenan, Rick and Ghost will give it their all tonight. So let's take a look at our venue. It is of course the Interlagos circuit for the Brazilian Grand Prix, a track known for its dramatic finales, its history and its racing. 14 corners make up a lap of this short circuit. A short qualifying session and 36 laps then to decide it all then. And I am Zach Sweeney. This is your APPF1 Tier 1 Season 3 Championship Showdown. And well, we're already into our short qualifying session. And as I said, we've got 3 drivers in the running for the race, both the race victory and the championship victory. That is Ghost, Keenan and Rick. All 3 have shown absolutely unmatchable pace all season long. All of them deserving of this title, similar to real life Formula 1. But only one of them, there's only one championship title allowed per season. Otherwise you could easily give it to all 3. Rick spent literally half of last season in Tier 2. His first full season as a Tier 1 driver. He's gunning it for the championship. He hasn't led a single lap so far this season, and yet he's 1 point off the championship lead. It is crazy how consistent this man has been. Ghost as well, 2-time sprint champion, the only man to do so, to win the championship in the sprints twice. He's never ever won the Tier 1 championship. Come close last season in 2nd place, but couldn't quite do the job. He's going to be looking to do that. He's going to need to outscore Keenan and Rick by 4 points in order to do so. This is Speed Alcoholic, an absolutely master when it comes to qualifying and a strategical mastermind when it comes to Brazil. He's on the medium compound tyre for his bank lap, his first lap of qualifying. DRS open then as he heads down in towards turn number 4. A sight for action for sure. Brake another 50 board just before 4th gear. Roll the car in on the brakes and then you've really got to get that power down. Bit of a squirm for speed. Flat through turn 5. Keep it to the left hand side as you go up the hill towards turn 6. Just literally brake, turn the car in and then straight back on the power as you head up the hill towards turn 7. And then hammer on the brakes as soon as the car straight for turn 8. Quick flick to the left, a very long corner of turn 9, very undulating as well. You dip down and then go back up as you head in towards turn number 10. This very awkwardly cambered corner where you want to take a nice wide line in, get that run through turn 11, which can be flat in qualifying spec, and then towards turn 12, braking just between the 2 boards there, the 75 mark, around about. MX goes quickest with a 108.069, Palf's a 108.141. He's going to be wanting to end the season on a high. DRS open then as Rick goes fastest, provisional pole 107.8. What can speed do across the line? It's going to be P5 108.5, though on the medium tyre. Expect him to blitz forward as soon as he gets himself on a quicker tyre. Ghost purple to the middle sector, quicker than his championship rival. As it stands, it's a Ferrari 1-2. Look out for Jackalacco to assist his teammate. Very quick, that Scotsman. And he can definitely pull a Checo-esque drive in order to help him out. Goes across the line. It's going to be P2, just shy of half a tenth off his championship rival. So it's Rick and Ghost 1 and 2 waiting for Keenan to settle up. He's not even left the pit lane just yet. Ben Finch, another driver who is very quick on his day, just hasn't had it hooked up this season so far. I say that I haven't seen the majority of his races so far. I haven't been here, but what a time to be back for an epic showdown as Koru in fact goes quickest. He's again in himself a very, very quick driver. None of the Red Bulls within a shout of the title, though they're driving their own race. They've got races to win. They've got championship positions that for their own to be fighting for. So they don't really care who's leading the championship, who's going to win the championship. As long as they do the best they can do, that's all that matters to them. This is Speed on a 2nd lap on the mediums. Has he improved? Doesn't look like he has. Just didn't have the ERS in the bank in order to do so. Slippy Jimmy in the Williams. We've got quite a few reserves, quite a few first timers, I think, on the grid. Mooman Graham, I think, is one of them. Slippy Jimmy as well. Joining us for their taste of Tier 1 action tonight. Very, very competitive championship, as it's proven over the course of its 3 seasons. Similar to the Sprint Championship as well. Both of them epic championships. Across the line for Slippy Jimmy then. What's it going to be? It's going to be P10. Gets himself inside the top 10 on his first effort in qualifying. Not a bad attempt at all. He sits on a 108.8. Not far away though from Tier, who's less than a tenth of a second behind him. This is Kiernan. This is the man to look out for. He's absolutely incredibly quick on both one lap pace and in the race. 36 laps is our 50% race distance today. It's a long race. You've got to be on your toes. You've got to watch out for safety cars. That run off a safety car restart is very long. You do not want to be slipstreamed down in towards the centre S. But Kiernan, he's got the experience, he's got the wit, he's got the pace in order to win this championship. It's just about whether or not he can hook it all up. And it's the Mercedes versus the Ferrari versus the AlphaTauri. And the final of the championship contenders starts his first lap. Looking for that 50 board in towards turn number 1. Down to third gear. Roll the car through. Keep it to the left as much as you can. Then swing it through turn 2. It's all about momentum through here. Flat through turn 3. Trying to avoid that curb as it does unsettle the car quite a lot. Then down this straight towards turn number 4. Speed Alcoholic moving out of the way. Braking at the 50. Down to around about 4th or 5th gear. Whichever one feels more comfortable. Then slam that throttle down. Brilliant clip angle from Kiernan as he just gets the car in a straight line. Sets himself up brilliantly for turn 5. Very committed through turns 6 and 7, using all the track in towards turn 8 on the brakes. Third gear, using the higher gear to just get that traction as he goes in towards turn 9. Keeping it in third, using the curve to shorten that distance and keep the car under control in towards turn 10. Again, still keeping it in third gear, not shifting up or down. And then finally through turn 11, completely flat out. Bit of a safety lift, in fact. And then aiming for that 75 board purple to middle sector for Kiernan. It worked. Well, it didn't work out quite for Ghost. Where can he put himself on the timing sheets? Is it going to be ahead of Rick? Is it going to be ahead of Ghost? Is it going to be provisional pole? Keeping it very, very tight through turn 14. Shortest run to the line possible in nearly 200 miles an hour. And it's P2, a 107.759. Just, well, 99 thousandths of a second between himself and his closest championship rival of Rick. 2, 3, 4 in order of their championship positions as well. You could not write this stuff. Still over halfway to go in our qualifying session, and Corey leads the way on pole position. 10 minutes and 45 seconds left. Need I remind you guys, this is literally 4 points between them. You've got Slippy Jimmy fans, you've got Ben Finch, who can't do ABS. That is such a shame. I mean, he's in P6, not doing too bad of a job, it must be said. That he's going to want to improve. AP said he'd be happy with P8. At the moment is stood in P8. Speed still on those mediums. LBF1, the other McLaren, in P11. He is an incredibly quick driver. Very dominant in Tier 2. Coming into Tier 1, P11, though the restricted assists aren't going to be in his favour. If you're not used to it, doesn't matter how quick you are going to fall. Only race 9 corners and auto gears are allowed. TC and ABS are not in the Tier 1 Championship. They are the best of the best. These lot, the most competitive, well, one of the most competitive grids APPF1 has to offer, and that's saying something. We've got the Sprint, we've got the Tier 1, and we've got the Tier 2. All three are absolutely brilliant in their own respects. This one is for the endurance-based people. When I say endurance, it's still 50%. It's pretty much a sprint, especially relative to actual endurance races, the 6 hours and such. But for the more consistent and long game playing people, this is perfect. And then you've got the sprint, which is fast, action packed, and the reverse grid really shows who can overtake and who can't. It doesn't matter how quick you are, if you can't overtake, you're really going to struggle in that sprint race. And Tier splits the championship rivals, goes into P4 just ahead of Ghost on a 107.875. Corey goes even quicker, not by much, just extending that to a 6.35, just over a tenth quicker than the championship leader of Kiernan, who only needs to outscore Rick and Ghost. Ghost, if he needs to beat Kiernan by 4 places and Rick by 3, that's to tie. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of countback. This is Ghost, though. Goes provisionally fastest by just shy of a tenth of a second, a 107.550. That is putting him in prime position to try and do his best. What he needs to do is win. If he can win, then that's all, and take fastest lap, that's the maximum amount of points that he can do. Vardy goes second place, 36 thousandths of a second shy of Ghost. The Aston Martin driver looking incredibly quick. He himself is a Tier 1 champion back in Season 2. Actually, no, season 1. I do apologise. He was the inaugural Tier 1 champion. Hasn't won a sprint championship. Runner-up, I think, on 3 occasions to Ghost, Ted and Scott. Hasn't quite managed to clinch the sprint championship glory. Enough about the sprint though. We're in Tier 1 and at the moment he's got himself on the front row. Corey's got his work cut out for him in order to seal himself back in contention. Kiernan down to P4, Rick down to P5 though. He's looking to improve. He's on an invalidated lap as it stands. 7 minutes and 45 seconds left of this qualifying session. Is Rick going to go for another lap? It looks like he is. He's got the ERS. And he's got the tyre life. He just does not want to sacrifice these tyres at all. Bit of a lock up into turn 1. Got to keep that momentum up through turn 2. It's beautifully done. Short shift into 5th. Just getting that traction as best he can. DRS then open that rear wing flap opening to pretty much eliminate all of the drag to the back of the car. Really does improve the straight line speed. Half a tenth quicker to the first sector. That will put him into the 107s just. Still needs a little bit more. Runs a little bit wide through turn 7 into 8. That might lose him some time. Didn't invalidate his lap, so he's still got the rest of the lap to go. Around about 6 or so corners, keeping it tight through turn 9. Bit of a squirm though. That's again not going to help him. Really is going to come down to all or nothing, I think, for Rick in that final Q3 lap. Or well, I say Q3. Well, it is virtually Q3. It's all 3 sessions bundled together. Still half a tenth up, 48 thousandths of a second for Rick. So still an improvement, just not the amount of an improvement that he would like. As AP goes into P4, didn't even realise a very, very strong drive so far in qualifying for the 2 Aston Martins, 2 and 4, and AP said he'd be happy with a quiet race in P8. P5 then, as I believe it was Rick that did improve. He managed to find a lot of time in that final sector though. Speed, absolutely stellar lap time, goes quickest by 2 and a bit tenths with a 107.340. Could we get a 106? It seems more and more possible, though 3.5 tenths is a mighty challenge to gain, especially around such a short lap. I think the second shortest in terms of lap time, you've got Austria, which is sort of the 102s, 103s, and then you've got here, which is the 106s. Then Monaco, which isn't far off here actually, despite being a lot shorter in length, the shortest in length on the calendar. But yeah, the top 5 separated by 3 tenths. AP down to P6 with a 107.22. 722. Kiernan in P7, so really does need to improve. Tier was P4 at the start of the session, now down to P8. Just goes to show the power of track evolution. The more rubber on the track, the more grip there's going to be. And of course, as the track conditions change, could get hotter, could get colder. That's going to make the tyres work in different temperature windows. Really does influence, even if it is arguably a simcade game, as some people would like to put it down to Codemasters. It does matter. The track gets quicker as the session goes on, unless it starts to rain, of course. This is a Tier though, starting his 2nd lap, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. There should be his 2nd lap. The top 10 separated by 7 tenths of a second. The entire grid separated by 2 seconds. Very, very close. That's an average of about a tenth of a second. Yeah, I'd say around about a tenth of a second, just over a tenth of a second between each driver. Pretty close. Not a lot in it. Steer has already invalidated this lap, so won't be taken further part. This is Vardy. P3 as it stands. 2.5 tenths off a provisional pole position. 3 different teams inside the top 3. One of them is a championship protagonist. The other 2, Rick inside the top 5. Kiernan hardly. He's 7th at the moment. Vardy improving 4 100ths of a second up to the first sector. That will put him onto the front row if he can keep this momentum up. It's all about momentum around this circuit. As we've got a Mercedes in front of us. Turning a bit too early for turn 6 for my liking. Just could not get the car in. As soon as he turned too early, he then had to crank on a lot more angle for turn 7. And that would have scrubbed off a bit of speed. Just a little bit too eager, but hooked it up pretty nicely through turn 9 into 10. Maybe breaking a little bit too early. Bit of a lock up as well. Maybe the pressure getting to his head. But Vardy, yeah, he is one of the most insane drivers we've got. Had a bit of a blip at the start of this game. 2020, he was absolutely just unmatchable, really. He himself and Ghost were just on a different level to everyone else. Ghost still so, and Vardy definitely up there. Has he improved though across the line? Not by... No, he hasn't. And stays at P3. He's got enough time, I think, maybe for 1 or 2 more laps. But it's all about tyres. Slippy Jimmy down in P15. Womack makes it a 15-16 for Williams. So at least the two teammates are close. Exactly 1/10 of a second between the two. This is Womack, though, on his lap. He's very quick on his day. Is today that day? Across the line. Goes P9. Not a bad effort whatsoever. Only half a tenth off the championship leader as well, who is waiting. Now is coming out on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. Looking to absolutely blitz this lap. He's left it quite late. He's not got much room for error. Rick also on an out lap. He needs to improve. He needs to save these tyres. He needs to make sure those tyres are in absolutely pristine condition, and of course make sure he gets a good start. Not the longest run to turn 1 in the world, very short in fact relative to a lot of other circuits. So a good start is crucial. You need to get off the line well. That acceleration from 0 to 100 kph, vital, because if you bog down off the start, that short run, yes, you're going to get to the first corner quicker and it might be your saving grace, but those that can get off the line quickly are going to gain from it. This is Rick through the final proper corner, arguably, of turn 12. And then it's just a flat out section all the way to the line. You want to have that shortest run as possible. You can see the track he's using, literally every tiny little bit of it now as he starts his final lap of qualifying. 1 point off the championship lead. He wants to do it. He spent half of last season in Tier 2, the Flying Dutchman Rick. He's been on it. He's been improving race by race, lap by lap. And let's see what he can do. A little bit up to the first sector. And purple, might I add, for the Ferrari. P7 at the moment. He needs to improve by quite a lot if he wants to set himself up good for this race. In towards turn 6. Just got to absolutely chuck it in. Down 4 gears to get that rotation. And then short shifting up to 6th. Then slamming on the brakes for turn number 8. Short shift to 3rd. Get that traction. Downshift to 2nd to get that bit of rotation. Use the curb. Hook it up nicely. And then brake as soon as the car's straight for turn number 10. A little bit deep, but as long as he can bite the car in for a nice late apex. And in fact, he's backed off. He's not happy with that lap. He's saving his tyres. I'm going to go for a final sprint. 1 minute 16 left in this qualifying session. Kiernan a 10th and a little bit up, but he invalidated his lap. So once again, the championship leader is going to need to go again. This could be pressure starting to kick in. Kiernan knows this is a vital race, a vital qualifying session. Yes, overtaking isn't particularly too difficult here at Interlagos, but it does help to start high. This is Ghost, slightly slower on his lap, so this could be it for his qualifying, unless he gets a stellar middle sector, which he has, a 10th and a half up now. This could be provisional pole position if he hooked up that final corner. This long run to the straight, using that curb to shorten the run, hook the car around the corner. Again, shortest run. MX goes second, a 107.497. Can Ghost improve, go provisional pole, or second place? He's put the AlphaTauri on the front row, 27 thousandths between himself and Speed Alcoholic, who himself might just improve. No, not to the first sector. Rick, how much has he improved by? Not much to the first sector. Kiernan as well is looking to try and improve, but if neither of these guys can improve, this is all or nothing on this lap. They need to get a good lap in. APP8 Zuba into P6, trying to support his teammate Rick to the middle sector. Half a 10th and purple as Ben Finch puts it P4. Incredibly close. It's now all eyes on Rick and Kiernan to see what they can do. We'll stay on board with Rick to finish his lap, see if he can improve any positions. Half a tenth, we'll see him into P7. Where's he going to put that Ferrari? A championship race, and he goes P5. Respectable effort from the Flying Dutchman. Kiernan next across the line. What can he do? And he goes provisionally fastest, and it is probably going to be pole position for the championship leader. 107.074. He did not take it in a close fashion. Absolutely smashed that lap time. Can anyone beat it who's still on the lap? Ghost is the only one out there, and it is going to be pole position for Kiernan. Stellar lap. Put it together when it mattered, and we doubted him. Vardy 2 tenths up. Not, well, it's around about 3 tenths shy of where it needs to be. It's Kiernan, Speed, Ghost, Koru, MX, your top 5. 2 Red Bulls inside the top 5. Very, very good showing for them. Rick down in P7. He's 5 places off his rivals. P8 now as Vardy improves to P5. Just look at how close that is. Exclude Kiernan. That was an absolutely alien lap time. Where he dragged that out from, I do not know. But he found it. He dug deep. He knew this race, this qualifying session, could see him win his first APPF1 championship. in his first full season. He didn't even join at the start of the season. He missed a round and since has been flying. You've got big names at the back of the grid as well. You've got Jack Alaco, aces, 14th and 15th. They're no mean slouches at all. It just goes to show the competitiveness and the fact you cannot leave anything on the table when it comes to APPF1, especially this Tier 1 Championship. Qualifying though, it's only one lap. We've got 36 of the race. It's going to test their consistency, their patience, their skill, their strategy, and their composure under pressure. It is then the championship leader, Kinnan, on pole position. A 107.074. He heads the field with Speed Alcoholic joining him on the front row. Ghost, third in the championship, will start third for today's race, with the other Red Bull of Corey rounding off the second row. Vardy P5, a stellar effort at the death of that qualifying session with MX in P6. Ben Finch P7 with Rick in P8. That is going to be a very, very tough challenge for him to overcome if he wants to win this championship, though his season-long battle has proven very, very good indeed. Zuber and Paus round off the top 10 with Tier in P11, Wimax P12 with LBP 13, Aces 14th, Jackalaco 15th, Slippy Jimmy in 16th, and Moo and Graham in P17. We'll finish off the grid in just a moment. 3 drivers, 1 crown, and 1 race to decide it all. Brazil is home to very, very tight championship deciders in the past. We know that from the Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso days. And of course, there is that Glock moment, the Kimi Raikkonen winning his championship in 2007 by a single point over Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. Very close, very tight. And this track is like no other when it comes to finales. And we got a 3-way fight for it today. The formation lap, then 36 laps of the Interlagos circuit. 2 Brits, 1 Dutch. Can Rick make it a quadruple Dutch delight in terms of championships? They won Formula E, they won F1 Esports, they won the Formula 1 World Championship. Can they win the APPF1 Tier 1 Championship as well and do the Netherlands proud? We'll never know. Of course, don't forget about the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes are trying to win that as well. I'll check in with the points. And if that is the case, if Mercedes do win this Constructors' Championship, that's going to be a Mercedes Constructors' Champion and a Dutch Drivers' Champion if Rick wins it as well. In a lot of championships. Let's say that much. So, vital for Kinnan to get these tyres into a temperature window. Pretty much everyone on the grid on soft tyres. Of course, everyone inside the top 10 set their fastest lapping in qualifying on the softs. Has to start on the softs, though. Tier, LB, Aces and Slippy Jimmy all on those medium compound tyres. Going to go long in this first stint in order to try and maximise the second. Trying to find the Tier 1 standings. There we are. So the team's championship then, Ferrari lead 211 to Mercedes 201, 10 points between them. That's a hefty gap to make up in one race, but we'll keep an eye on it. AlphaTauri and Aston Martin find over third, 159 to 154. Red Bull are in the mix as well, and they've got a good showing tonight, but so too have Aston Martin, and so too have AlphaTauri. So yeah, it's close in both championships. A short run to turn 1. 36 laps, 3 drivers, 1 title between them. Ghost looking for his third APPF1, his first Tier 1. Kinnan and Rick looking for their maiden titles. Rick yet to lead a lap this season, starts P8. He needs to beat Kinnan by 2 places. Ghost needs to beat them by 5. Best way to do that is to win the race. At least then you know you've done everything you can. Kinnan and Speed share the front row into turn 1. The tyres are warm. The heart is going to be racing. I know what it's like in a championship fight. On that final race, you know everything is at stake. The entire season has come down to this. There's no comfortability at all as Moti Perez rounds off the grid at the back. Both Haas cars are going to be having a front row seat to the action as we wait for 5 red lights for the season finale. That short dash 300 meters or so down towards turn number 1. The whole season has been waiting for this. 3 drivers, Kiernan, Ghost and Rick. 4 points separate them. We're waiting for the 5 red lights, and here we go. The cars are revving up. 5 red lights to the season finale here for Tier 1 Season 3, and we're underway. A great start from second place for Speed, already alongside the championship leader in towards turn 1. Is ahead of the championship leader in towards turn 1. Ghost trying to get involved, but he's got a Red Bull on his inside. Corey making a bit of contact with the AlphaTauri as they all funnel their way through. Rick with a stellar start up into P5. This is where it matters, Rick. You haven't had good starts in the past, but today you made it work. Ghost trying to put pressure on Kiernan, going to the outside, goes to the inside, under brakes in towards turn 4, has to back out of it. Kiernan gives him a wide berth of space, and they're now going to be side by side through turn 5, and Ghost is ahead of the championship leader, but it's not by enough. Rick trailing 1.3, now under pressure from Vardy, who sends one to the inside of turn 6. Kiernan needs to get back ahead of Ghost. In fact, he doesn't need to, but it's going to give him that comfortability as Speed leads from Ghost, Kiernan, Koru and Vardy rounding off the top 5. Rick P6 up 2 places. That's a good start. He hasn't gone backwards. He's now got the rest of the race in order to try and sort it out. Wait for a couple of laps before the DRS gets enabled, though Kiernan is probably not going to want to raid around. Ghost managing to capitalise, sent one to the inside of turn 4, and then from there didn't look back. As we look to the back, Slippy Jimmy up into P11, trying to chase his first top 10 in his first race. Kiernan, is he close enough to mount a challenge on Ghost? Speed leads our first lap, 1 second ahead of Ghost, who's rapid around Brazil and absolutely relentless. He does not bottle it under pressure. Take it from me, I've tried 18 laps within 1 second of Ghost, and he did not crack at all. Is braking within that 1 second range of Speed? It's all going to matter next lap when he's got that DRS in order to try and get past and into the race lead. MX under pressure from Ben Finch, the Season 2 Tier 1 champion. His AP has gone round, has he? Or, in fact, he has. No, he's just lagged out of the session and gone back to P18. Not quite sure what's happening now. I will update you as soon as I know. Slippy Jimmy, though, going around the outside of Aces versus Kings through turn 6 and 7. The Mercedes did not let that happen at all. And down the inside goes Jack Alaco, the soaring Scotsman. Gets the position in towards turn 9, or has he? No, he hasn't. The Williams fights back, is not giving this up at all. Proving his mettle amongst some of APPF1's absolute best. Ghost falling out of that 1 second range of Speed, but once again Ghost just saving that ERS. Kiernan even more so saving that ERS as they go on to lap 3 of 36. Jackalacco gets inside the top 10. Aces falls down to P11. Kiernan sets the fast lap of the race. The top 3 in this race separated by just 1 second. Rick needs to get past Vardy. A lot of lockups in towards turn number 1. The Ghost all over that rear end of the AlphaTauri. He's got the DRS, but so has Ghost in order to put some pressure on Speed. He's used up a lot of ERS in that first sector in order to close the gap. Rick on the back of Vardy, not quite close enough to mount a challenge in towards turn number 4, but he's going to be piling that pressure on as much as he can. We've got a spinner of Tier at the back of the grid. He pit for hard tyres following some damage on the first couple of laps and can't seem to get them warmed up quick enough. Corey trailing the top 3 by 1.1 seconds. He might need that DRS assistance soon because Vardy and Rick are not waiting around. MX and Ben round off that little train for P5. But MX doesn't care about the championship. He just wants to get through for P6. Kiernan, 3/5 tenths separate him and Ghost as they go on to the DRS straight, the pit straight, and Ghost hasn't got the assistance of DRS for Speed. He opens his DRS, does the championship leader, still leads the way and will win the championship as it stands. On to lap 5, not quite close enough and not willing to expend all of his energy just yet. Rick not quite close enough to mount a challenge on Vardy either. He's just saving that ERS, making Vardy maybe sieging him out. Jack Alaco around the outsiders out of Aces through turns 1 and 2. The Mercedes trying his best as we got a maybe side-by-side action as Ghost defends to the inside. Kiernan trying his luck around the outside. Deja vu of lap 1 maybe as they go through turn 5. Kiernan all over that rear end of the AlphaTauri. Not quite going to be close enough to looking towards turn 6. But a valiant effort indeed, and Ghost is going to make that AlphaTauri as wide as possible. Maybe Speed backing up. Is he going to give the junior team the DRS in order to defend? We will see, and we will have to wait and see. Though Aces did manage to complete the move on Jack Alaco into P10 despite being on those medium compound tyres. Should be a lot slower at this stage in the race. And to answer my question, no. Speed a little bit weaker through the middle sector, but that first and third absolutely rapid. 3/10 separate them. Second and third, two protagonists for the championship. Ghost needs to hope that Kiernan falls back though because as it stands, it's not going to be enough to win him the title. Here's Kiernan though, closing at a rate of knots in towards turn number 1. Is Ghost going to flinch? He goes to the middle of the track, forces the Mercedes wide. It's going to be the outside of turn 1, quickly becomes the inside of turn 2. Kiernan's got a lot more to lose, but he's going to stick his nose in, back up the inside of turn 2, and he gets that position. Ghost going to have to tuck in, though he's got the benefit of the DRS down in towards turn 4. The Mercedes goes to the middle of the track. Where's Ghost going to go? It's going to be the inside, the left-hand side, under brakes. He is ahead. Is he going to force the Mercedes wide? Bit of a lock-up, and he gets back ahead. Ghost defending this position very, very well, and it definitely has the championship on the line. And the more they fight, the more Corey closes up. The more they fight, the more Rick closes up. The more they fight, the more MX closes up, and it's going to be an absolutely incredible fight, because Kiernan does not want to be backed up into these 4. The more he follows, the more Ghost backs Kiernan up, the more susceptible Kiernan is to falling back down the order, which is exactly what Ghost wants in this fight. He knows that he needs to beat Kiernan by a few points, and to do that he needs to feed him to the pack of wolves behind the charging Red Bull of Koru, the prancing horse of the Ferrari, and the Alfa Romeo of MX. So Kiernan, he's got another chance. He's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream. Once more in towards turn 1. Ghost going defensive already to the middle of the track. Is it Kiernan going to sell him the dummy? No, he's committed to the outside. How late can he be under brakes? Is it deja vu? No. Settles in behind again. Ghost making that AlphaTauri twice as wide as it is. 2 meters wide, these Formula 1 cars. He's trying to make it 4. Down on the straight towards turn number 4. And Kiernan, unfortunately, not quite close enough. Koru very close as MX gets himself past Rick, down to 6th goes the Ferrari, not helping his chance in the constructors nor in the drivers either. That extra 1 point could be vital as Jackalacco and Ace is still going at it side by side up in towards turn 6. Is the Ferrari going to go around the outside? Surely not, and no, he doesn't. Has to tuck in behind the Mercedes as we got a spinner. That's Ben Finch going off, probably the rear's locking on him, as ABS does not like him very much. Though the two Haas making steady progress, up 5 places apiece. Good stuff from the pair of them from the back of the grid to where they are now. Kiernan once again trying to get onto the back of that AlphaTauri, though knows the more they fight, the more vulnerable he's going to be to Corey behind, who will definitely give his RRL teammate a bit of a run for his money. Kiernan not fighting, and he's actually siege Ghost out here. Very clever play from the championship leader. He knows Ghost now is weak. He's only got 25% of battery compared to Ghost's Kiernan's 80%. Very, very good stuff. Smart plays though. Koru is within the DRS range, 6/10 between him. Rick on the back of MX. He's got Vardy and Wumax for company, as well as AP's AI. Which is a shame. I mean, he said he wanted a lonely race. He's definitely got one by not being in the race. But yeah, can Koru mount an attack on Kiernan? Will he mount an attack on Kiernan? It depends who Koru's rooting for here. But I mean, when you're in a fight for some places in the championship, in the Constructors' Championship, you're not really going to want to wait around because, well, with the top 3 separated by 4 points, every point counts. In such a close point system, only 1 point between each position, so 4 points is 4 positions plus fastest lap, gives you an extra one. Is Corey going to push the button now? Ghost managed to save a little bit through that middle sector, saving up around about 25% ERS. Still, Kiernan stays behind as Ghost expends a lot of his battery in order to do so. Corey now heavily latched on to the back of this train for P2 as Speedus would have taken off into the distance. 2.5 seconds he leads by from Ghost, Kiernan, Corey and MX your top 5, with Rick trying to change that, trying to get himself back in front of the Alfa Romeo. Vardy as well. We've got some fights going on. These are 2 Hasses going side by side. Indeed it is. Murti Perez goes off the track. Bit of contact, bit of carbon fibre, as well as that Ben Finch's front wing as he goes off the track. Is it into the barrier? No. Manages to keep it on the track. Is he going to go for a move into turn 4? Brakes late, not quite late enough, and he definitely has not got a front wing because that front left end plate putting a lot more load on the tyres, meaning the ABS. Well, with no ABS, the tyres are going to lock up a lot easier with more strain on them. For Ghost, he needs to back these 2 up into MX. He needs to save 2.5 seconds so MX and Rick can get involved. And of course, with Rick involved, we've got a spinner as that someone going. There's yellow flags through the first sector. I don't think it's anyone too important in terms of the championship, though. Kiernan has pressed the button. He's going to go for the run. Ghost defends to the inside. Kiernan having to go the long way around. It quickly becomes the inside of turn 2. Ghost absolutely sends one under brakes, though it's not enough. The Mercedes around the outside. Beautiful move. Claims the inside of turn number 2, but through 3, you can see Ghost practically pushing him. Now he's going to use absolutely everything. The Mercedes once more going to the inside, squeezing the AlphaTauri and forcing him to go the long way around. Ghost brakes late. It's late enough. It's all the way around the outside. Beautiful stuff from Ghost to keep him ahead, despite being so disadvantaged with that energy consumption. And in towards turn 6, parks that car beautifully on the inside. No space inside or outside for the Mercedes to find a way through. And meanwhile, they back themselves up into Koru, who hopefully is going to turn that Red Bull into a kamikaze plane for Ghost's sake and send one to the inside of Kiernan. Yeah, for Koru, probably should focus on keeping the car on track himself, because he's proven to not be particularly good at that. LB has left the session, unfortunately for him. Lap 9 of 36, a quarter of the way through this race, as Kiernan lifts off a little bit, caught in the dirt. Yeah, maybe DRS open and slipstream as he darts into the pits. Very late move, in fact, from Kiernan. Really did not take the normal pit entry, conventional, but he's the first to pit, the first championship leader to pit, or the only championship leader to pit, the championship protagonist to pit. He goes on to the mediums. Is this a 2-stop? Held for a little while. Is this a 2-stop, or can he go the distance on those mediums? It'll be, what, 27 laps on those medium tyres, including lap 36. That's going to be an ask. Is he going for a 2-stop? Has he got the pace in order to do so, or is this a strategical blunder from the Mercedes crew? But by doing so, Corey's been unleashed to attack the junior team. Will he do so, though? In real life, certainly not, but APPF1, it certainly is a different story. There's no junior teams, all equal performance, all level playing field. So Corey's got absolutely no obligation to stay behind. Will Ghost want to keep him behind? He makes a bit of a mistake through turn 11 into 12, having to lift off and going over the curb a little bit too much. Meanwhile, Rick has got himself ahead of MX. Yellow flags to the middle sector. I'm not quite sure what those are for. So, panic averted. Is Ghost going to respond? Yes. No, he's not. He stays out. He trusts his instincts. He wants to go for the 1-stop. Corey, though, closing at a rate of knots. Is it going to be the inside of turn 1? He's going to look. Has a little look. Not quite brave enough under brakes in order to do so, though. Rick responds to Kiernan and comes in on the next lap. Lap 11 of 36. What tyres are going on to that Ferrari? Is it mediums? It is. They're going to have to nurse these to the end of the race, or go for a 2-stop. We don't know. We won't know until the checker flag who's done this right. Though speed, whatever he does, is going to be hard to match. There's yellow flags. There's probably a bit of fighting going on further back. It is. It's between Kiernan trying to find his way through the Haas cars, and that's the thing with pitting early. You find yourself stuck in traffic in the dirty air, then having to fight your way through some of the slower cars, despite being on fresh tyres. The McLaren, is that LB going around? No, that's Ben Finch once more, not having the best of days. A safety car right now would be massive for Ghost in the championship. Would allow him to pit. Same too for speed. 4.2 separate those two. At the front, Kiernan, though, getting held up by Moti Perez for P10. And then after that, he's got a wide gap of clean air that he can do. Trying to set up the switcheroo. Can't quite. Vardy a 3-second time penalty. So too for Ben Finch. He's got one as well. But you can just see those old softs really going off. The mediums, Kiernan saying, I want to go through. I need to go through, as to not lose much time. And Vardy and Wumax are having a bit of a fight for P5 and 6. Wumax gets himself through. Vardy getting a little bit shaken up by that slippy Jimmy into P8 after a couple of pit stops. This is Kiernan easily around the outside of the Haas, ahead before the corner. Late break, and no Moti Perez going to come back up the inside, maybe phasing Kiernan a little bit, who just stuck to his gut and stays ahead. Now he's got 5.5 seconds of clean air, and this is crunch time now, between now and when Ghost pits. Corey's still staying station. Ghost needs to use this time to save up a bit of ERS, that extra 160 brake horsepower, probably double what you've got in your general road car. At the push of a button going to those rear wheels helps tremendously. A good probably 20 kph, 15 miles an hour down the straight. Couple that with a bit of DRS and slipstream, you've got one quick car. 4.5 between Speed and Ghost. Who's coming in first? The Red Bull probably going to go a long while. How he's maintaining good pace on those softs, I do not know. Is Ghost in? No, but Corey is going for the undercut, going proactive, very late under brakes, sending it into the pit lane. Mighty stuff. from the Red Bull. Kiernan already closed 1.5 seconds on Slippy Jimmy in that half a lap alone. Using a lot of ERS though in order to do it. There's Corey. He's now leaving the pit lane. Kiernan will comfortably get ahead of him. So will those fresh tyres make a difference? Fast lap of the race for Kiernan. That's an extra point going his way. 109.895. Means Ghost either needs to snatch it or get an extra position on him if he wants to win this title. The more this race goes on, the more comfortable it looks for Kiernan, but do not ever get complacent in motorsport. You can't afford to, as now the first round of pit stops have sort of happened. The field has spread out a little bit. A mighty fight between Kiernan and Ghost though for that first stint. It was incredible how late Ghost was on the brakes, despite being a long way back on some occasions, just to keep that P2, keep that track position. And now with 1.3 seconds slower to the middle sector, has saved a little bit of ERS, now just shy of half. He's going to want to come in soon because those tyres are gone. And indeed, and he's still going long. I think he's doing what Speed does. He's doing exactly what Speed will do. He's going to lose time now, but he's going to have those fresh tyres. Maybe if there's a safety car, which is looking ever likely if Ben Finch is still on the track, I can't lie. As Powers of the Eye comes into the pit lane. Closest battle on track is between Wumax and MX. Wumax has got some great pace on these old softs. He's kept those tyres alive and he's using what little he's got left before the pit window to try and chase after the Season 2 champion. Little flash through the middle sector. That looks to be where Kiernan is. So, yeah, actually no. That's a Haas. I think it was maybe one of the Haas is getting out of the way of one of the Alpha Towers. Of Zuba. Oh no, that's for track position. That's Moomin versus Zuba. I thought it would be Ghost trying to lap them, but what do I know? Vardy, Wumax and MX in a train for P3 just before the pit window opens. 5.2 between Ghost and Speed, who somehow is keeping those tyres at a good pace. Is he going to go one more lap? He does. How? I don't know. Kiernan going to close up onto the back of Slippy Jimmy, yet to pit, and will be fighting for track position as well. Ghost though does come in on this lap. He's going to lose a ton of time to his rival, who is going to have a lot fresher tyres to use towards the end of the race. That means Kiernan's tyres are going to hit a cliff before his does. Still stationary, now putting those tyres on. Yeah, look how much time he's lost to Kiernan, who's now coming through turn 1. It's probably going to be a good 3 seconds, I reckon. Actually, no. Could be close. Could be only a couple of seconds. What about Koru as well? Has he managed to get the undercut? I think he has on Ghost. Ghost is going to lose out to Rick as well, who's also pit. Could be close between the two. Are they going to be side by side as we go down this straight? No. Rick just about manages to get himself ahead, though. The freshest tyres of the lot. Ghost is going to be on one. He needs to get those tyres fired up. He's going to try and dispatch of Rick as quickly as possible to the left-hand side. There you go. It's going to be outside of turn 6 and 7. Rick says no. The AlphaTauri sticking his nose in just about warrants enough room through turn 8. Trying to keep his nose in around the outside. Is Rick going to give him enough space through turn 9? Indeed he is. Ghost tries to send it to the inside and does so side by side on the run up towards turn 10 in towards 11. Can Ghost keep his side by side? Indeed he can. Rick giving him an absolute world of room. Fair play between both of those guys. Despite there being a championship on the line, they keep it respectful. And Ghost up into P8. 2.3 the gap to Corey. 2.9 the gap to Kiernan. And Speed also pits from the lead of the race. Slippy Jimmy vulnerable from an attack from the Mercedes into the inside fairly comfortably. Didn't lose too much time on the slower car there. Where's Speed going to come out in all of this? He's onto the medium tyres. They're going to be a lot fresher than those around him. He's going to get himself ahead of Slippy Jimmy. In fact, just behind Kiernan. And that means Speed is going to have to get himself through on track. 5 laps, younger tyres. Could he help Koru and Ghost out here? Ghost mighty in these second stints. Just turns something on. Already that gap to Corey down to 1.5, and Rick's coming with him, keeping him honest with that DRS. 3 turns between Speed and Kiernan. Speed's got a lot more ERS in the battery. Kiernan only 35% compared to the 90% that Speed's got. At the moment it's only P3, but will be a net P1, only 5 seconds off the 2 leaders, Wumax and Aces. Yeah, let's do sector 1. That's another McLaren. LB and Ben really not having the best of days. Kiernan not the best launch of turn 12. Speed pretty equal to him. He's going to get the DRS. He's going to try and blitz past. Is Kiernan going to give this up easily? That is the question. He's got a lot more to lose. Does go defensive, the fight for the net race lead then. And Speed goes for the move around the outside. Kinnan just tucks in, says, okay, that's fair enough. Off you go. Because Speed, incredibly quick around Interlagos, is not someone you really want to mess with at all. Slippy Jimmy gets himself a 3-second time penalty. And he's got nothing to say to that. Kinnan. Ghost, he tucked in behind at turns 1 and 2. Comes straight back at turn 3. Kinnan can't be doing that at all. So that was not an easy, well, that was a very easy affair for Speed to get himself back into the net race lead. Goes to 1.3 the gap between himself and Koru. That will come to no avail in terms of the championship glory. Could help him against Rick, who the longer this race goes on, as I say, the less and less likely it seems that he's going to win the championship, and the more it swings towards Kinnan's favour. Never underestimate the heart of a champion. Very true, Ghost. He's dug deep before he can dig deep again, and never say never if there's one safety car. There's a bit of chaos. Kinnan gets tussled up in it, falls down the order. You never ever know. Speed Iconic set in the fast lap. 109.777 takes a point away from Kinnan and gives himself a point. It is very sick. Bumblebee, you are right. Really doing his best is Ghost. Driving his heart out. 1.4 between him and Koru. He, who has to get past Slippy Jimmy to the inside of turn 4, not the optimal line. And he's got to fight his way through. That's going to cost him a bit of time. But Ghost has got to get through on the same car as well. And Kinnan already losing DRS to Speed. Halfway through this race then, lap 18 of 36. Still a long way to go. Maybe a couple more pit stops for the likes of Kinnan if those tyres do start to go off. It's going to be a stretch. And that could come back into Ghost's favour if he tumbles down the order. So yeah, two different strategies for the title rivals. Not a lot in it. The top three really have put on a show. They always do. And of course, thank you to One Wing for stepping in the commentary booth for my absence. Ghost is going to get a very easy time of getting past Slippy Jimmy, I think, down this straight. He's probably going to be ahead before the corner. He's very slippery in a straight line. In fact, I say that, he's not using his ERS. So he's just relying on DRS and slipstream to the inside of turn 1. Going to try and use this to slingshot into Corey's DRS. Maybe if he's got that extra speed, can maybe get under 1 second. No, he can't. And Rick has to get through down in towards turn 4. 1.1 the gap between Corey and Ghost. Ghost needs to find a little bit more speed, I think. And to the inside goes the Flying Dutchman. Forces Slippy Jimmy off the track, but fair play. He was ahead. It was his apex to take. Oh, that is my phone falling off the charger. Did not want that to happen. I've already got one broken phone. I do not need another. Ghost 1.1. Once he's inside that DRS, that's going to be a virtual tow hook. He's going to latch onto that diffuser and start to reel in that Red Bull. And then once he's done that, he can set his sights forward on Kinnan and try and do the best he can in order to win this championship. We're now heading towards the checkered flag. Heading out of the woods, you might say. Now we're halfway through. Ace is under pressure. Is not going to fight this one too hard. In fact, pulls over and just lets the Red Bull through as he sets the fast lap. 109.546. Goes within the DRS range now. Koru got less ERS in the battery, though it is quite close. 0.5 between himself and Ghost. Managed to get the undercut. Ghost with the fresher tyres should be quicker and is quicker. Now with DRS needs to use this momentum to slingshot past and then close that 3.2 second gap to the inside. Surely not to the inside of turn 4. Ghost with everything to lose. Sends one on Koru, who does not flinch. Goes around the outside. That was brave. And now he's putting the pressure on in towards turn 6 and 7. Koru's sort of half-heartedly defending. And wow, if that worked, fair play to Ghost. Rick now joined the back of this train. The three of them, 4, 5 and 6, two of which fighting for a championship. Corey just sort of in the way, but he's racing his own race. Fair enough to him. This is a net P3. And Ghost wants to find a way through so he can at least get the track position on Kinnan in case there is a safety car. Still no retirements in this race, and we're 20 laps in, so fair play to everyone. He needs a good launch, does Ghost. He needs to use every bit of ERS he's got, and he's saved up quite a bit through that middle sector. Now using all of it, that extra 160 brake horsepower with DRS, with slipstream. Koru having to go defensive. Where's Ghost going to go? He finds a space on the inside. Koru gives him the squeeze, has to then concede, and ahead before the corner. Ghost into P3. And a great move at that. Rick now putting the pressure on Corey, who's going to have the benefit of the DRS from Ghost. Going to be a tough time for the Flying Dutchman to find a way through, and he's not got a lot of DRS in order to do it. But if he can close the gap in towards turn 4, Corey having to go defensive. Can Rick go the long way round? Puts the pressure on, bit of contact between the two. Hopefully no damage for the man P2 in the championship. And Ghost gets ahead. Still not enough to get P2 in the championship. He's going to have to go and catch Kiernan in order to do that. And thank you to the 11 people watching this live championship fight. One of the best we've seen in APPF1 history. Wasn't looking, thought a crash happened, but Zach dropped his phone. I did, it slipped. So I do apologise. It is such a brilliant race so far, Sonic. Incredible stuff on showcase for us tonight. It is getting quite overcast. I say, you know, it's looking a little bit doom and gloom. It was sunshine at the start of this race, now quite overcast. Could we have a drizzle of rain for this finale? Kiernan using a lot of VRS. As the 3, 4 and 5 still close. Sleepy Jimmy into the pit lane. 21 laps he's done on those mediums. Is he going to go softs now to the end of this race? Could well do, to try and chase after a top 10. He's got a lot of space in order to do so. Settles nicely into this gap, but he's got to go and catch aces, which is going to be the tricky thing. Well, actually catch Wumax, because Wumax is probably going to be the more realistic target. 3.4 between Kiernan and Ghost. Neither of which have the fastest lap, so no extra points swinging their way. Could we see... Is that what Kiernan's trying to do, perhaps? He's going for a 2-stop to get those softs, get that extra point, and if he can catch up, happy days. There's not a lot in it. If he tumbles down, if he's behind Vardy, who really isn't that far behind, only 5 seconds, and will put up a mighty defence if he has to. Fresher tyres, or equal tyres to Ghost. So, you know. But Kiernan, respect to him, he's kept the pace for speed. That gap open to 2 seconds, and he's kept it there. But I think speed is more in just Sunday drive, though, on a Friday evening. Rain will really spice it up. Those 5 laps extra might be crucial. Indeed, they might. We've got a bit of battling going on between Wumax and Aces. Wumax on the outside, Aces on the inside. Should be a fairly clean move, and it is. Not really contested. Now Sleepy Jimmy chasing after his teammate. 11.3 seconds to get himself inside the top 10. As Rick on the back of Koru. As Ghost stretches his legs, now trying to get that car out of the DRS range. Then he can really set his sights forward on Kiernan. And there's yellow flags. I think that is a McLaren. Really not having the best days, McLaren. And if he can just get himself outside that 1 second range, he really could do something, and he has. The DRS detection point is just after turn 12. Needs a good exit, and he's done it. And now Rick, he's got Koru all to himself now, as Koru does not get the benefit of the DRS. In fact, he does just manage to snip through, but won't be long now, I don't think, until Koru is susceptible from an attack. To an attack from Rick. Vardy under pressure from MX, goes to the outside as Vardy defends the inside. If he's late enough under brakes, indeed he is. And ahead before the corner, turns in pretty cleanly. Vardy going to go for the DRS attack down towards turn 4. Ben Finch, another 3-second time penalty. I think Vardy strategically conceded this one. In fact, no, he hasn't, because he's not exactly darting to the inside in order to gain the slipstream, which is a strange one. But still, Ghost, Koru, and Rick fighting for the podium place and the championship, which, as time ticks on, swings more and more towards Kiernan's favour. Though one mistake, one spin, one slip up, one drizzle of rain, one safety car could throw it all into turmoil. You never know. Never say never. Never get complacent. Never think you're in control of motorsport. As Kiernan's into the pit lane, we knew it. He's going for a 2-stop. Softs to the end of the race. Ghost, Koru, and Rick all are going to get ahead of him, and this is going to mean that Rick is going. Actually, Rick follows him in. I didn't even realise Rick's followed him in. He's going for a 2-stop as well. So Ghost leads the live standings. This is spicy. Where's Kiernan going to come out? P8? Is it going to be P9? Maybe it is. P9 for Kiernan as Rumax gets ahead. He might well do. Is he? He's got the speed. It's going to be side by side, I think, with the two. Kiernan's going to have the late break. And in fact, no. Yeah, Rumax is clear ahead. Rick into P10 as well. They're going to have to dart their way through the field in order to win this one. They've got... Well, Ghost needs 4 places. Make that 5 places. So he needs to clear Rumax and Aces, who himself is on some soft tyres. It's not going to make it easy. He's got that penalty, though. Is it the right call for Kiernan? He's got the pace, but he hasn't got the track position. This is close. Yeah, this is crunch time for Ghost. He needs to get outside that 1 second range. He needs to try something in order to close the speed. He's not coming in. Corey stays out as well. They're comfortably on a 1-stop. They've committed now. They've got to do it, and they need to hope that Kiernan's tyres fall off towards the end of this stint, as well as Rick's. 3 seconds. Yeah, well, let me have a quick look at who's won more races. It's a shame that Ghost is actually driving, because if he was in the live chat, we could see who's got more race wins this season. But unfortunately, Ghost is driving, so we can't rely on him for that, unfortunately. Trying my best. LB a 3-second time penalty. Vardy on the back of MX. Skies seem to be maintaining. Now let's have a little look at the podiums for Tier 1 Season 3. We'll count the wins as they go. Ghost won last time out at Canada. Kiernan won, so that's 1-all. 2-1 to Ghost. 2-2 to Kiernan. 3-2 to Kiernan. 4-2. Yeah. So it's 4-3. So even if Ghost wins, well, if Ghost wins and Kiernan gets into P6 and it's tied on points, it's going to be tied on countback and it will go down to P2 finishes, which, yeah, we need to focus on the action. We can't be counting the second places at the moment. And we'll have to wait to see. Kiernan sets the fastest lap. That's an extra point in his way, so he doesn't even need to get past Aces now. He's got the 5 points he needs. So it's level pegging. Ghost needs to win this race in order to not lose on countback immediately. It's incredibly close. Lifting and coasting for Kiernan as well. Saving tyres perhaps. Rick really hasn't come through with some speed either. He's struggled to get these softs going, which is something. Corey's still on the back of Ghost. Ghost doing absolutely everything he can. He's low on fuel as well. Needs to do some lifting and coasting. Could explain as to why he's not broken out of that 1 second range just yet, as Ben Finch gets himself into P13. How he's in 13th, I do not know. He's had a very topsy-turvy race, to say the least. As LB is left, AP hasn't even raced a lap of this so far. Sleepy Jimmy has made progress on his teammate. Now down to 5.4 seconds. A safety car, it could help Ghost, because if everyone comes in for softs, there's an level pegging, which means Jacko will be on softs, Vardy softs, MX softs. Everyone will be on the soft compound tyre, which is really going to stop Kiernan's progress, and it means that with Ghost on softs, he could get past speed. We've got a spin in one of the McLarens. Is that LB or is that Ben Finch going around? It's LB. Going somewhere. Jumps to the front though. 9 laps left to go. LB gets himself a 3-second penalty again. So, surprised neither of the McLaren have just given up. They're going to the end though, which is fair play to them. Finishing the season as best they can. The two Mercedes, Aces and Kiernan. Aces probably won't fight this one too much. It'll be 1 point between himself and Ghost then, favouring Kiernan. And they do let them through, if he lets them through. Both on softs, both chasing Jackalacco. For the constructors, they need to do this. They need to beat Ferrari by 10 points. They're not really going to do that unless one of them DNF. 29 of 36 then. Speed leads from Ghost in P2, Corey 3rd, MX 4th, with Vardy in P5. Jackalacco 6th, under pressure from Aces in 7th, and his teammate Kiernan leading the way in the championship in P8. Rumax P9 with Rick rounding off the top 10. Looking to swap these two around though, because Rick is coming at a rate of knots. To the left hand side he goes. We've got a car stopped on track. It's one of the McLarens, and it's also one of the Haas cars as well. Yellow flags going out. Have we got moving cars? We have. Won't be a full course yellow. Meanwhile, Rick gets himself inside into 9th place. Ace is trying to put the pressure on Jackalacco now side by side with his teammate. Is Ace is going to concede? No, he's not. He's going to force his teammate the long way around, does not let him through. And the more they fight, the increased chance that Kiernan could crash. It would suck if the championship is decided this way, but it would mean the world to Ghost if something happened to Kiernan now that stopped his progress. Just look at this train. Ben Finch and the Haas having an absolute mare because Ben and Mooman haven't got a front wing, and hopefully they won't crash on track and bring out a safety car because well, we saw in real life how much a safety car can affect the championship. Definitely would affect this one. Aces 2/10s to Jackalacco, Kiernan 2/10s to Aces. They are very close, bumper to bumper to bumper as they head down the pit straight for P6. This is crucial moves for Kiernan to make in his championship. Jackalacco having to go defensive. Kiernan can't find a way through. Aces using those soft tyres around the outside. Dances that Mercedes to try. But Jackalacco on that shorter run gets himself ahead. We've got a spinner. Is that Vardy going round? No, Vardy's just been swallowed up by all of these. They're going to be 3 abreast. Kiernan to the left-hand side. Jackalacco trying to park that car. Vardy finding the way through. Kiernan down the inside of Jackalacco as they run side by side through turn 5. Jackalacco on the outside. Bit of contact there. Wheel banging. Kiernan cannot afford to lose his front wing in this skirmish. He's going to go around the outside of turn 6 and 7. Jackalacco forces him wide. It's the outside for turn number 8. Then quickly becomes the inside for turn number 9. There's contact. Jackalacco sideways as Kiernan squeezes that nose through. Still more contacts, very much wheel banging, but they've been side by side for a good half the lap. Jackalacco stays ahead, forces the championship leader off the track, and Vardy says thank you very much and finds a way through back into P6 after getting swallowed up at the start of the lap. Great bit of racing between those two, but Kiernan cannot be as aggressive as that if he still wants to win this championship. A good run off of turn 12 sees him putting that pressure on Vardy, who's going to get the DRS from Jackalacco. It's forcing Kiernan to use up some ERS that he cannot afford to lose. Vardy now getting past Jackalacco, who concedes to Kiernan as well, getting absolutely swallowed up. And Kiernan goes around the outside, but Jackalacco sends one to the inside. Vardy susceptible to an attack as well. Jackalacco still around the outside of turn 2, forcing Kiernan wide. That's going to invite Aces up the inside. Is that Kiernan off the track? It is. He goes onto the grass. This is scary, scary moments for Kiernan in this championship. He falls back down to P8, which again swings the pendulum into Ghost's favour. 6 places between them, or 5 places between them, 6 points between them. And that is enough for Ghost to secure this championship as it stands. Though the 3 in front of him have got penalties, so he is in a net P5 effectively, which is a shame. As we've got, is that a crash on the front straight? I think it is. Mooman stopped on track. Could that be a safety car? No, surely it surely won't be. If penalties weren't involved in this is heartbreaking for Kiernan, who needs to get through this traffic. 5.5 laps left to go of this race, of this championship. An epic showdown that we've had. Dramatic. Jackalacco is not giving an inch with Kiernan. He does not care about fight. I don't even know what he's doing. Is he defending for Ghost? He's trying his hardest, making that Ferrari very, very wide indeed as Aces tries to get past Vardy. Haven't checked the live chat in a long time. Corey's still putting some pressure onto Ghost that still can't find a way through. Ghost still low on fuel as well, needs to start saving. Yeah, they need to defend as Aces tries his luck around the outside of Vardy. To no avail this time around. Kiernan all over the back of Jackalacco. Darting to the inside goes Aces. Tries it. Vardy gives him the space. Further up there's a bit of a confuffle as Mooman Graham's AI still on track. Yeah, no love for Kiernan. No one supporting him. He's a lone ranger. Not even his teammates helping him out. He's driving his own race, trying to get past Vardy. 32 of 36 of this championship. Rick still no indents made. The time penalty of his own. Slippy Jimmy on the back of his teammate. Could he get Womax for his first top 10 finish in APPF1? Stay tuned because he might well do. This is Kiernan side by side with Jackalacco, who's making that car very, very wide indeed. He's going to get the DRS advantage. They're going to be side by side down the pit straight. The Mercedes having to tuck in behind. He's going to try and go to the inside. That Ferrari is blocking it off though. Pulls to the right hand side. Does Kiernan the fight for P8, but it's crucial for the championship. Dancing that car around the outside. There's contact still between the two. Jackalacco sent sideways as he tries to turn across the Ferrari. He's now going to try and come back at him with a drag reduction system. Kiernan slow. No ERS either. So here comes Jackalacco forcing him to the inside. Goes the Mercedes. Who's going to be last on the brakes? It's going to be Jackalacco, who tries to force him off, and there's contact between the championship leader and his constructors rival of Jackalacco, who is not going to be happy with that, and a VSC has been called out, the virtual safety car, because of LB's DNF. Could that be upgraded to a full course caution? We might have to wait and see. But all cars now having to abide by a 40% race speed delta. They basically have to cut their speed in half, keep those tyres warm while the marshals run onto the track and clear that debris. Yeah, that's a big crash for LB. Not somewhere you particularly want to be parked if you're in a real-life Formula 1 situation. But yeah, Jakalaka really trying his luck at getting past Kiernan here. Surprised there's no damage to that Mercedes. It took a hit. And we go green once more. Rick's been given a drive through. There goes his championship chance as he has to pull himself into the pit lane. Ben Finch took the opportunity to come into the to DNF himself. Both McLarens out of this race then. Is Jakalaka going to try and launch onto the inside towards turn 1? Is he going to look? No. He tried. He was tempted. I know full well it was tempting in the Scotsman's mind. Yellow flags through sectors 1 and 2 because of the parked McLaren. Slippy Jimmy though up the inside of his teammate and into 9th place. For his race here in Williams will be his first top 10 finish, and a nice 11 points on the board for him. Aces gets past Vardy as well. 12 lap old softs compared to 18 lap old mediums. Both tyres are going to be screaming for help at this stage. 2.5 laps left to go. 34 of 36. Vardy another 3-second time penalty. Looks to be Kiernan's championship. I think it's going to be Rick is not in contention. Ghost will get P2 in the championship. Bit of contact between Kiernan and Vardy though, because Vardy was forced to go, so he's going to come back up the inside of him. Nearly a bit of contact as Kiernan tries to go for the switcheroo. Now back down the inside of turn 12. Vardy concedes it. He wants the DRS. He's going to come right back at him, especially because Kiernan's vulnerable over the grass there. That's going to invite Jakalaka around the outside. And it's going to allow Kiernan to go through as Vardy gets a big old tank slapper. Loses his front wing and has to come into the pit lane. Shame, poor way for him to end his race. Not end his race, but yeah, end his chance for a decent midfield position. And now the pendulum swings back into Kiernan's favour. Into P6. It's enough to win the championship. AP somehow gets a 3-second time, but is he back in the race now? I think he is. I think he is back in the race. He's just driving around to the back. He said he wanted a lonely race. That's exactly what he's got. Coming on to the final lap soon enough. Speed has driven an absolutely dominant race. It's been one of his most dominant displays, well, ever. He's a very quick driver, very consistent driver. He knows what he's doing. Does Speed, especially around Interlagos. That strategy, he just conserves those tyres so well. Really does just caress them around the track. And that's exactly what he needed to do. Kept that pace up as well despite saving the tyres. Corey, is he going to mount an attack on Ghost? Onto the final lap then. 14 corners left of this championship. And Speed leads the way. Ghost, a valiant effort in order to win this race and championship. He might just fall short though unless something happens on this final lap between Kiernan. It's pretty much going to be as close as you'd like. Equal on points between the two. But both deserve the championship. All three deserve the championship. Rick, Kiernan and Ghost. They've all driven brilliant seasons. Ace is trying to put some pressure on MX. Goes to the right hand side. It's the long way around. MX has to tuck in behind. But Aces goes indeed. That could invite the Season 2 champion to come back at him. Kiernan wants to get involved as well. It's the last lap. Things might get desperate. You never know. Something could happen. There's cars off just in front of them as well. Multi-Parettes and Tier going off. Maybe just to let them through. That could be a good explanation. This is Speed though. 8.7 seconds he leads by. He rounds the final proper corner. He's going to be the final race winner of season number 3 across the line. A dominant display from Speed Alcoholic to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. The season finale. Ghost is going to come home at 9 seconds later to come home P2. He's done everything he can for the championship. It's not going to be enough though, and out of the final corner Aces has gone round, or in fact run out of fuel, and now Kiernan and MX want to drag race the line. It's not going to matter because Kiernan's going to come home P4. That's all he needs to do to become the Tier 1 Season 3 Drivers Champion. And Kiernan, incredible stuff all season. His maiden season in Tier 1, and he's won the championship. Not by much, only a couple of points in it between himself and Ghost, who just falls short. Jakalako 6th, and a lot of cars now finding their way through. We're waiting for Rick. A good effort from the Dutchman. It's going to be P3 in the championship for him, and I think it's going to be Ferrari that are the Constructors' Champions as well. Vardy takes the fastest lap on the final lap, 1:08.253 in P11. But yeah, great race. Great race. Great finale. And all 3 drivers deserve a pat on the back for that one. They all deserve the championship, but only one could do so, and that was Kiernan, the Mercedes driver, taking the crown. Wow, 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 is all you can say to that. Champion. It was absolutely insane. Ghost defense on Kiernan. I don't know how he did that. Checo Perez-esque stuff. Speed's dominant display. This race had everything except a fight for the race lead. But no discredit to Speed. Fantastic stuff. It was the pace was just so close. That midfield 4, 5, 6 and 7. Absolutely nothing between them, nothing to separate them. Corey piling that pressure onto Ghost, who despite having the championship burden on his shoulders and needing that second place just to boost his points, did not buckle. He never does. It's Ghost. Just wasn't quite enough to win the championship. He fell short last season by a couple of points. He falls short this season by a couple of points, but he should still be immensely proud of what he's done. Rick as well, half of last season in Tier 2, comes into Tier 1, the big boys, and he proves his worth. P3 in the championship. There's still a runners-up place, and he's got all the next season to try and come back and prove his worth. And if anything, this loss is just going to be further motivation for him to win. So waiting for Pounce's AI to cross the line. I think that's all we're waiting for. Not quite sure though. I can actually sit down for a moment. I've put my chair out of the way so I can stand up. But I can actually sit down. My legs are killing me. Would have thought so after an hour and a half of being just stood up talking. Oh, feels good to sit down. Especially after a race like that. Stellar stuff. 11 of you watching live. Yeah, thank you to everyone being here. I know I've missed a good half of the season, but I'm looking forward to the next season, and I'm... Thank you. Thank you, Admir. Yeah, I do appreciate it. Hope you can stick around for a while to come. In fact, speaking of a while, on Monday it'll be 1 year since my first race commentated for APPF1. It was a community race, Formula 2 around Russia, and we've come a long way since then. 3 seasons of Tier 1, 5 seasons of Sprint, and a whole lot of memories, a whole lot of drivers that have joined us since. So yeah, thank you guys for leaving a like. Not quite sure why the race hasn't ended yet. I'll be honest, I don't know. Yeah, as soon as that comes through, we'll go through the final standings. In fact, why don't we just do it on here? I think that would be a good thing. Then we're not waiting around, and we can finally end the stream. I say finally. I don't want this stream to end because it's been great. After 36 laps of racing, it was Speed that took the win. A dominant display with Ghost second and Corey rounding off the podium. The champion of Kiernan in P4 with MX P5. Jackalacko 6th with Aces in 7th. Rumax 8th with Slippy Jimmy taking his first top 10 in APPF1. Rick P10 just falling short of the championship, but still P3. He should be immensely proud. Vardy P11 after a late collision. Zuba P12. Strong race from him. Quite quiet, and he definitely had a good qualifying result. Marty Pretz in P13, both fastest moving forward, 13th and 15th, with Tier in the middle, P14 for him. Palps, after not participating in a lot of this race, P16, and the 2 McLarens, Ben Finch and LB, ending their season with a retirement. Well then, ladies and gents, it's been a wild ride. Again, as I say, I'm sorry for not being here for a lot of Season 3, but I cannot wait to see what Season 4 has to offer. We've also got the sprint race on Sunday. Probably be the closest thing to a 1 year anniversary, so definitely tune in for that. Thank you to everyone that tuned in today, and a massive thank you to all the drivers for taking part. We got a very full grid for our finale, and hopefully that those numbers can be carried forward into Season 4. But until then, guys, I've been Zach Sweeney, your commentator and broadcaster for this season. And I'll see you very, very shortly, hopefully, for a equally stellar Season 4. Have a great evening, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.